Hey, a lot of work put into this moment. A lot of work. Remember one thing today. You're not alone. You got 10 dudes around you that are going to lay it on the line for you. Do the same for them. Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
I'm crossing in the states. You know that I don't play. I'ma take you on a date. Yeah, I'm the 40 gang, so never switching.
Ready to go.
I know this from the heart, cause you know that I'm a star. And it's all came from the heart. You ain't here when it was hard. I told the world I'm
Hey, gotta love this, man. Get to go out there and play some football, man. Have some fun, play for each other.
Or each other for the man next to you.
Hey, 60 minutes, play for one another.
Hey, man, this is a hell of an opportunity. What you willing to lay on the line? Ask yourself that.
Finish, grind, take a deep breath, and have some fun. Okay?
What is up, guys? Welcome to End Zone Express. We got a couple special guests with us here today. We got Mr. ChiefsCapital. We got our buddies Chris and Joey in here. How you guys doing?
What's good?
Doing great, man. Self, man.
So we're just gonna get right. Oh, my camera's on. We're just gonna get right into it, guys. We got the 2026 NFL first round mock drafts for you guys. As you guys know, the draft is tomorrow. So I guess I'll go first because I'll get it out the way. I'll probably have the quickest explanation. I've been doing draft research for months, so it'll be pretty quick to go through my picks. So obviously, first pick we already know, Fernando Mendoza. I think that's pretty obvious and clear. The Raiders have made it pretty much clear that they're going to take Fernando Mendoza. I have Arvell Reese going to the Jets. I feel like you have nothing to lose here. If you're the Jets, there's no reason to trade back. You take Arvell Reese after trading away Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. You just take the best available player on the board here. David Bailey goes to the Cardinals. Obviously, the Cardinals have a bad pass rush, one of the worst pass rushes in the league last year. You take David Bailey, no-brainer here, best available. Carnell Tate, I have him going to the Titans. If you're the Titans, you got to take him here. You got to get a weapon for Cam Ward. I understand that offensive line is an issue, but I don't feel like at number 4, you take an offensive lineman here. There's plenty of offensive linemen throughout the draft that they could take. And I think that it's not too much of a dire need, more so than wide receivers, since Cam Ward really doesn't have a single weapon on his team right now, unfortunately. So I think going out there and getting Carnell Tate is the best possible option for them. I have the New York Giants taking Caleb Downs. I think after evaluating this one, this was honestly the toughest pick in the top 5 for me, just because the Giants do have picks 5 and picks 10. But I did have to redo the top 10 about 10 times over the last 2 months for sure. But I think that Caleb Downs is the best available player. The Giants front 7 is already young and lethal. Even though they gave up Dexter Lawrence, there's still some young guys there. There's still pieces there. So I think that you take Caleb Downs, you round out that defense, and give Jackson Dart more of a shot in some of these games than previously last year, which we'll get to the 10th pick soon. As you guys can already see, I have them taking a wide receiver. But Fran Margot at 6, it's pretty simple. Obviously, the Browns need to protect whoever is playing at quarterback. And I think that that's got to be the biggest thing for them, while also losing a couple linemen in free agency. Jeremiah Love at 7. Commanders need a running back. I think there's enough said there. I think that's where he falls. I don't think that the Browns take him, considering they already have Quinshawn Judkins. The Giants already have Cam Scatterboo and what's his name, Tyrone Tracy. And then obviously the Titans, they have their situation. And the Cardinals have James Conner. And obviously the Jets have Breece Hall and the Raiders have Genty. I'm not sure what the Cardinals are going to do. I have them taking Bailey, but I actually wouldn't be shocked if they were to take Jeremiah Love at 3. I don't know what their situation is with James Conner, but obviously they may not ride out with that, considering he's aging and he's coming off of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, an ACL tear. So,
Yes, correct.
So a lot of that thought process for me was maybe they give him a shot on the contract he's on, considering he is getting paid a hefty amount of money at his age for his position. So I figured that was the best spot for Jeremiah Love to go. Sonny Styles, after getting rid of DeMario Davis, a veteran, I think they're going to replace him with Sonny Styles and go young there. And I, of course, as you already know, this is the biggest pick for me here. I have Ruben Bain, obviously falling to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, obviously, there's been some rumblings of a certain player going to the Chiefs, which I'll let ChiefsCapital take care of that after I get through mine. He's going next. I'll let him obviously more so get into in depth on that part. But I have Jordan Tyson going 10. I think you add another weapon on the other side of Malik Neighbors. You give Jackson Dart 2 options to throw to. They can all three of them can grow together, including with Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scadaboo. You got a young offense right there. At least you have the weapons figured out, and then they can go out and get offensive line if they feel like next draft there's going to be a pretty elite crop of offensive linemen coming out next draft too as well. So I got Jordan Tyson going to the Giants at number 10, which the Giants recently traded up to get that number 10 pick. What was it, last week, right? Not this week. Pretty sure it was last week.
Yeah, it wasn't last week.
And then I have Mekhi Lemon going to the Dolphins. Obviously, the Dolphins quarterback situation, it looks like they're sticking with the quarterback room that they have. And I feel like for that specific situation, next year, there's going to be plenty of quarterbacks in the crop of the first round next year. So I feel like the Dolphins it's a bridge year. They got rid of Mike McDaniel. New coach came in, new regime, let go of some guys. So you just take the best available player. And I think wide receiver is obviously the biggest question mark on that roster, if you ask me. I did wrestle with them potentially choosing Mansour Delon because obviously, clearly, the cornerback room is obviously, and the secondary room is obviously one of the worst in the league for the Dolphins too. Mansour Delon, I have him going to the Cowboys. The Cowboys need a corner. This is definitely the guy that they need. Defense is obviously a problem. So, excuse me. The front seven obviously isn't the biggest issue. I should say the front four is obviously not the biggest issue. Linebackers a little bit of a problem. Losing Kenneth Murray, this is going to be an issue. So I think that obviously they're probably going to, in later rounds, take linebackers. I think they'll take a couple throughout this draft for the picks that they have. Since the Cowboys don't have too many picks in this draft. I think they've traded away a good amount. So they're going to have to be pretty sparing with their picks. Monroe Freeland going to LA. I think LA needs an offensive tackle to go out there and protect Matthew Stafford in what is probably most likely Matthew Stafford's last year. Spencer Fano, the Ravens need a tackle. They let a couple offensive linemen go. I think this is a good pick for the Ravens. I've seen Kenyon Sadiq obviously potentially going here. I don't think that that's going to be the case. The Ravens have a specific system set in place, and they make certain signings and they make certain draft picks that they feel have worked for them. So that's why I have Spencer Fano also going here. Akeem Mesidor going to the Buccaneers. I think this is one that the Buccaneers kind of have a little bit of flexibility as far as who they want to pick on defense. Losing Jamel Dean, they could go corner here. They could go safety here to pair next to Antoine Winfield Jr. I wrestled with potentially putting Dylan Thieneman here and Mesidor going to the Lions. I wasn't so sure about that, but I would flip those obviously if it were to be the opposite way around. But I have Ty Simpson going to the Jets. I know a lot of people are not going to like this, or they think it's too high. The quarterback situation for the Jets is so dire that they honestly just don't have a choice. And Ty Simpson's going to be here. He's going to be here or he's going to be at 2, no matter what. He's not going 1. So no matter what, this is the best situation for the Jets to figure out what they possibly could have going into next season. And let's say, obviously they have Geno Smith. He's the bridge quarterback. Let's say Geno Smith, they want to move on from Geno Smith and they feel Ty Simpson's ready, or maybe they want to create a quarterback competition in camp. They can go out and get another quarterback next first rounder, considering that pretty sure the Jets have 3 first-round picks next year. So they can get whoever the fuck they want at whatever spot next year. I have Dylan Thieneman going to the Lions only because the biggest problem with the Lions is injuries on defense. Defensive injuries have killed them, especially at the safety spot. I think they'll go a little bit younger with Dylan Thieneman here. Olavavega Ioane is probably most likely going to the Vikings. I think they'll try and protect Kyler Murray, give Kyler Murray time to get the ball off. Also an interior lineman who loves to guard pull on runs, on stretch runs and toss runs. So I think this is a good offensive lineman going in a run first heavy system, which obviously it looks like the Vikings probably might go in that direction with obviously Kyler Murray, a lot of read option, a lot of RPOs. So hopefully Ioane will be a good addition to that team. Caden Proctor, you got to go out there. There's some weapons. Obviously, you have Jonathan Coker or Jalen Coker. I'm sorry, Jalen Coker. He obviously has built a rapport with Bryce Young, and obviously Tet McMillan has built a rapport with Bryce Young. So I feel like they wouldn't go skill player here. If anything, they might go defense. I was thinking Emmanuel McNeil Warren, but I think they want to get out there and they probably want to protect Bryce Young and probably add to the offensive line because that obviously was an issue last year. Emmanuel McNeil Warren going to the Cowboys. Obviously, this pick here, I think that the Cowboys need to bolster their defense and getting Mansour Delon and Emmanuel McNeil Warren. It actually might completely turn the defense around completely. Obviously, Trevon Diggs is no longer there. That's another reason why I also felt they would take Mansour Delon. Put him next to Deron Bland, who led the league in interceptions at 1.2 seasons ago. You put Emmanuel McNeil Warren back there with those two. I think that's a great pairing. A good place to start for sure. Omar Cooper Jr. going to the Steelers. Now, I think the Steelers do not have a solidified wide receiver number 2 or a second option. I think Omar Cooper Jr. is the perfect guy in this situation for them to take here. I think that obviously Kenneth Gainwell, a safety blanket type of guy, he's not going to be there anymore. Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington obviously they're not pass first tight ends. So I think obviously adding a guy like Omar Cooper Jr. might take off some pressure. Comes from a winning program, a winning system. So hopefully that the Steelers are smart there and they put another guy on the other side of DK Metcalf. I don't know whoever's going to play quarterback there. That's a weird situation. Don't know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, so that's a sight to see. But maybe they get Omar Cooper to think that maybe they pair him with Will Howard, and obviously maybe they might make Will Howard the starter. The Chargers do not have a tight end. I think they do take Kenyon Sadiq. I think obviously they need their offensive line to be healthy. I don't think offensive line's a crazy need for them. I think the biggest need right now is probably a tight end who could probably add to that. You got Amarion Hampton, who also they like to West Coast zone run. So I think adding Kenyon Sadiq, a good physical, athletic tight end who needs some polishing in the receiving game. He's not going to obviously have to be too big a receiver with Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey on the team and Hampton getting touches. So I think Kenyon Sadiq is definitely a good pick for the Chargers. Keldrick Falk, I have going to the Eagles. I think the Eagles need an edge rusher. I know they have Jordan Davis and Jordan Carter, but I think they need an edge rusher. Jalen Phillips, I think, left. So there's really no one on that you trust on the edge spot other than the backups right now. I think you take Keldrick Falk to see if he could probably win for that first spot. And I think playing next to Davis and Carter will definitely free up some space for him. Casey Concepcion, since I'm an Aggie guy, obviously I have him going to the Browns. I think obviously wide receiver is the biggest question mark outside of the offensive line position this offseason. There needs to be some other target other than Harold Finn and Jr. on this team. And Isaiah Bond showed flashes, but I don't think he has the potential to be a wide receiver one. I got Peter Woods on the defensive line going to the Chicago Bears. I think the biggest thing for the Chicago Bears is that their defense is in absolute fucking shambles right now. So the biggest thing for them is that they really, really need defense. And I think they go Peter Woods here, especially defensive line, because there's no more Edmonds. They've lost almost everyone on their defense, honestly. You need to start somewhere, and he's the best available defensive player, in my personal opinion, at this point in the draft. I think the Bills need a wide receiver. Denzel Boston is obviously the next best available. I think the Bills need to go wide receiver here. There's really no question about it. It's obviously an issue. Khalil Shakir can't be the wide receiver one. Tackle is a position that the 49ers do need. Their offensive line was not that good last year. I think Caleb Lomu is a good pick here, and or Blake Miller. Same situation for the Texans. One of the worst offensive lines in the league last year. So both of them are going Lomu or Miller. It doesn't matter who goes 27, 28. But obviously, as you guys, if for those watching so far, these are obviously picks without trades. The only trade I can really see happening is I think the Browns might move up from 24. They might move up from 24 to give themselves a chance. I think also Jets could potentially, they might move up too from 16.
I've seen that the Jets might move down from 16.
I think they might move up.
That's possible.
Yeah. They have the pick capital to be aggressive if they really want to. So I think those are two teams that you could see move up. I also could see the Chicago Bears moving up. Yeah. They might also move up as well. So there's might be a guy that they might like. I have Avion Terrell going to the Chiefs. Now, obviously, this is obviously one that, I'm praying. I think Avion Terrell is better than Colton Hood. So, I think obviously him being AJ Terrell's brother, this is a pick you take. And if you watch his practice tape and you watch any of his other tape, he is a shutdown one-on-one corner. A shutdown. And this right here, this is a steal of a draft pick. I don't know why Avion Terrell is projected so late. He might be the best one-on-one corner in the whole entire draft. Just one-on-one. Like, put someone on an island, Avion Terrell, and watch the tape. He potentially might be the best one. Now, if we can get him at 29 and we don't move here, or we feel that there's rumblings of him moving up, I think obviously moving up to get him would be completely fine too. But I think Avion Terrell is going to be the steal of the draft. And obviously, my thought process is obviously with us being very, very good at developing secondary players, I think that Avion Terrell would be an amazing pick for us. Obviously, like I said before, the Dolphins need offensive line. Max Iheanacho should be the pick here. And then the Patriots need an edge rusher. TJ Parker is the best available at 31 for them. And obviously, with losing Reek Woolen and a couple guys on defense, I think Colton Hood is the best available pick here for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, that is my first round mock draft. Thank you guys. W's in the comments if you like my mock draft. If there's anything you change in my mock draft, please let me know. Now, on to Mr. Chiefs Capital. Now, Ben, if we could pull up Mr. Chiefs Capital, where did Ben go? Hold on. What the fuck? Okay. Capital, can you send me your mock draft, bro?
Yeah.
Thank you. You can send it to me through text if you want, because I'm on my computer. No, that's not good.
I think his audio cut out. I think he's gonna join back because that's what happened to mine.
I don't know. He was here and then all of a sudden he was gone. But anyways, how do you feel about while you said that? How do you feel about the draft so far? And if anything, what would you change from what I have so far?
I like it. I really like it. Go down a little bit. What was the one? The one thing I would change. I don't think Tate goes 4 because they just paid Wandale about like $100 million, and I don't know if they'd spend the 4th pick on that. If they traded down, like if a team traded up to 4 and they moved back to like 7 or 8 or 9 even, then I could see Tate. And then the Steelers one, you mentioned they didn't really have a bona fide number 2, but for a receiver, but they just added Michael Pittman, and I don't know if they're gonna go. I mean, they very well could go receiver. I just don't think they will. But it's a good pick for Pittsburgh.
It is, but
I think it's a good pick.
I think they're big on wide receiver depth. They kind of always have been.
Yeah, true.
So I think that would be a good pick for them. Obviously, like you said too, though, they could go in different directions here, though. The Steelers do have that flexibility.
They have a lot of directions they can go for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll pull up Mr. Chiefs Capital's mock draft. Ben, where did you go? What happened? We were nervous.
I accidentally clicked out with my mouse.
I was like, did he like?
No,
is he getting arrested?
I accidentally clicked out.
I thought you were getting arrested. All right, Capital, do your due diligence. Talk to us, my good man.
I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit.
All right, so with the first pick, obviously we know what it is. Everybody knows what it is. It's Fernando Mendoza. All right, we don't have to talk about that. Number 2. Now here's interesting because the last couple of days, as we've gotten closer to Thursday, it's been about, is it Reese? Is it Bailey? Everybody's saying Bailey is now the pick, and I wouldn't be shocked if it is, but I'm going to trust my gut, and I'm going to say if I had to pick someone right now, because this mock I made is what I think is going to happen. It's not necessarily what I do, but it's what I think is going to happen. So I'm going to go.
And remember also for anybody watching, they have trades. I think I might be the only one other than Ben.
You're not. I didn't include.
So I didn't include trades. So
I didn't include trades either.
So I have the Jets taking Reese at 2.
Okay.
And going best player available. 3, here's where it gets interesting because the Cardinals with 3, they really control big portion of the top 10. Whatever the Cardinals do at 3, whoever they trade with, whoever they stay and pick, it's going to change a big outlook for the rest of the top 10 at least. So there's talk Dallas was to come up and get a new blue chip player to kind of replace Micah Parsons on the defensive front, and I think they're going to move up and get David Bailey. I don't think it's going to cost 20 to do it. I think they're going to, use some later picks and some picks next year to move up, because I don't think the draft capital in this year's draft is as valuable, so I don't think it would take as much. So Dallas moving up, getting their guy, and getting David Bailey. 4 for the Titans. I guess Robert Saleh, defensive coach. Give him a good defense. He'll, he's going to do what he's going to do. But, when Jeremiah Love, who you could argue could be the best player in the class, non-position, group-wise, it's hard to pass that up, especially, it helps open the offense more up for Cam Ward, because none of the receivers, in this year's class are necessarily receivers where it's like, there's not a Malik Neighbors, there's not a Marvin Harrison where it's, they should be the pick. And I think they have a lot of faith in Wan'Dale Robinson, and I think they'll target someone later rounds too, but I have them going Jeremiah Love. 5 Giants, Caleb Downs, John Harbaugh loved coaching Kyle Hamilton, and Caleb Downs is the best safety prospect we've had in a long time, pretty much since Kyle Hamilton. You could argue he's a better prospect than Kyle Hamilton. And, I think he's best player available. You take him, screw the positional rankings and whatever you want to do. You just take the best player available. And I think that's what they're going to do. Cleveland, there's a lot of rumors in them moving back. I think they're going to stay at 6, take Malioa, but I think he's the best lineman in the class. And even though it's not super deep necessarily, it's really top heavy. I think it's the best available for them. And they lost, Wyatt Teller this offseason. They lost a lot of members of the O-line. I think it's
the whole O-line was free agents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's the best pick. I wouldn't be surprised if they move down, but I think they're going to stay and pick there. 7, it was hard. I was leaning towards Tate, but I think, Dan Quinn, knowing him and defensively, and, I wouldn't be surprised if they went Sonny Styles here. I think, he's a playmaker. He's a, incredible athlete. You saw what he did at the Combine. He blew everyone away with his Combine performance. It was nuts. So, Dan Quinn and Washington's buffing up that defense. They added Dafe Owe, Leo Chenal, Charles Omenihu. They added a bunch of different players. So I think they're trying to buff up the defense for Dan Quinn, because we've seen what he can do with a solid defense. The offense is already, decent enough, and obviously they'll add throughout the draft with that. But I think Sonny Styles is the pick there. 8, the Saints. It was hard because Saints are a big wild card due to the fact they have a lot of needs. Specifically on the defense side of the ball, who knows if Cam Jordan's coming back. They lost Mario Davis. They lost Alontae Taylor. Matthew retired. Justin Reed's on the last year of his contract. So I think you're the Saints. You take the best secondary player available and you go Mansour Delane. I mean, he's a shutdown corner. He let up like 12 catches all year last year. I mean, best player available, I think that's who New Orleans goes. Number 9, if you know me, this is my pick right here. The guy I've been wanting. And I think it's going to happen. I think a lot of teams are concerned with his arm length. And, I don't think me specifically, not that my opinion matters, but I'm not concerned with the arm length. And I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs are either, considering their pass rush last year was god-awful. And, if you have a player that can go out there and embarrass NFL talent level tackles in college, I think it can translate. And so I think that's, you take the shot and you draft Ruben Bain at 9. 10, Giants, Jordan Tyson, I think obviously you've seen the reports. They love Jordan Tyson. They're having dinner with him. He's their guy. He's sitting there at 10. I think he's for sure going to be the pick. I'd be shocked if he's available and they don't take him, unless, another defensive player like Styles falls or something crazy. But, it just makes the most sense. Dolphins at 11. Carnell Tate, great receiver, doesn't drop the ball, great hands, route runner, big, might as well, they traded away Jalen Waddle this offseason, and I think it just makes the most sense. Give Malik Willis a weapon and help out the offense a little bit. 12, this is where the Cardinals traded back with Dallas. I have them taking Monroe Freeling. He is really versatile on the O-line. He can play all 5 positions on the O-line, which is really incredible. And I think for Arizona, considering they have holes all over the O-line, I think it's really great draft pick for them to reestablish what they got going on. Rams at 13, the Falcons basically handed them this pick gift wrap. Everyone's talking they're going to go Sadiq or Lemon or another corner, but what their acquisitions this year in free agency, they traded for Trent McDuffie. They signed Jalen Watson. They still got Manuel Forbes. Cam Kitchens re-signed. Cam Curl re-signed. So I don't think they're going to target secondary high, especially if Delane's gone. And so I have them taking I'm not going to try and pronounce the name.
Owane.
Yeah.
Oliva Vega Ioane.
Yeah. I don't want to butcher his name out of respect, but yeah, I mean, he has let up a sack in his last 2 years of college, and and I think the Rams are all in, and you want to give Stafford the protection in his last year potentially, and even for the next QB that takes over the reins of the Rams. So I think that's what they're going to do. 14, the Ravens. I know Ben might like this pick. I got them taking Lemon. It was hard because I was gonna have them taking a lineman. I'm not gonna say which one, but I'm thinking, Zay Flowers is going on the last year of his contract. He's not the player necessarily that was, in the range he was drafted. He was drafted right before JSN, or in that range of JSN. He hasn't been that. He's been reliable, but he's not a superstar.
He was drafted after JSN and Quentin Johnson.
And
someone else. I can't remember.
Right? Quentin Johnson was
no, JSN was the first one to go.
Was he?
Yeah, Quentin Johnson was next after him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've them taking Lemon. They lost Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews getting old, and I get the Sadiq argument, but why not take the Blitnikov winner, man? Why not take the Blitnikov winner? He's sitting there at 14. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a good pick. 15, the Bucks, Keldrick Falk. I know a lot of people, including me, aren't super high on Falk, but apparently he's been rising up boards. The Bucks.
I'm not high on him either, personally.
Yeah, neither am I.
That's why I have him going a little bit late.
And I don't think he's going to be a bad player. I just think I've heard from people that I've talked to that he's rising up boards, and so I think with the Bucks, he'll be there. He's younger too. He's only 20. He's only 20, or I think he just turned 21. So he has the age part. He can grow, and so that's the pick. 16, the Jets. I had a lot of people saying they're going to trade back, trade up, whatever they're going to do at 16. I think they just take Akeem Messidor. They traded Jermaine Johnson this offseason, the Titans. They got what's his name? The dude from the Titans, T'Vondre Sweat. They got T'Vondre Sweat back in the deal, and but their edge isn't really set anymore. And I think there's age concerns with Messidor, but I think he, you turn on the tape, him and Bane were like Batman and Robin out there. No pun intended, but I mean, dude, they're literally tearing it up in the playoffs and all season for Miami. So I think you look past the age concerns, and you turn on the tape and you look at the production. You take the surefire edge rusher right there. Absolutely. 17, Arizona Cardinals, have them trading back into the first round to select Ty Simpson. They're very high on Ty Simpson. I think it's inevitable that he becomes an Arizona Cardinal tomorrow. I don't know if it'll necessarily be at 17, but it made sense because Detroit, has talked about the fact that they may need to trade back. They don't have a lot of draft capital at all. I think their next pick after first round is like third, so they don't really have a lot of. They don't have a lot of capital, so I think it makes sense. The Cardinals can move up, get their guy. Detroit can move back and get capital, and it makes sense. Minnesota, Dylan Thieneman, I think, a great safety. If it wasn't for Caleb, I think Caleb Downs overshadows him a little bit. He's a great player, very versatile as well. But he fits what Minnesota's defense got going on. I think it's a great pick. 19, Caden Proctor to the Panthers. He's rising up draft boards too. I mean, the dude's 300-something pounds. Alabama has him out there at receiver. He can move. And, Bryce Young needs protection, man. And I know they got Ike Mekwonu out there. And I know he's just coming off an injury too, right for the playoffs. So I think it just makes sense. You take one of the best available, in my opinion. And I think that's the pick for the Carolina Panthers. 20, Dallas. We know they need defensive help. They're going to double down on defense. Take Colton Hood, corner out of Tennessee. Him and he took a step up this year with Jermon McCoy being out due to the ACL last year. He didn't play at all. And I will say, I will add this because Jermon McCoy is not in this first round, which he should be, but
with the injury, yeah,
he hasn't played since he didn't play all season last year, so I don't think.
And there's also reports that he might be out all year.
And there's a new report that he may need surgery again, which could knock him out again for an entire year. And you don't just you don't take that kind of risk with a first round pick. And I get the Will Johnson comparisons. The thing about Will Johnson was he wasn't coming off surgery; he was just dealing with lingering issues, which I get. But the thing about McCoy is, he also have to factor in he hasn't played in a year. So, So I haven't taken the other Tennessee corner. He's really great, Colton Hood. I think that's what Dallas is going to do, double down on the secondary. Like Amari said, Trayvon Diggs isn't there anymore. So Deron Bland is there, but they need to double down on defense. Their offense is good. But that's the pick. Pittsburgh at 21, I think they take Spencer Fano. I think because he has concerns about him being a tackle in the NFL and that there's a lot of optimism that if he doesn't work out a tackle, you can move him to guard. And he could be a very solid guard, kind of like Kingsley Suamataia for the Chiefs. Kind of the same situation there. I think it's a pick. Like Amari said earlier, Pittsburgh has a lot of flexibility. They can go a lot of different options.
Yep.
I just think, knowing the O-line and, whatever they're going to do, I think it's just a pick. 22, Los Angeles Chargers, I think go Peter Woods. His stock fell a little bit from where it was considering last year, I guess you could say. He didn't have the best year, but his presence and his disruption is there. You can't deny that. So I think, they got Khalil Mack for one more year. And they lost Oweh too. So I think they need to buffer their D-line, especially interior. And I think he's the best available option. 22. 23, everybody knows the Eagles are hungry for defensive ends. They're in the market for every defensive end that's in trade talks, whatever it is, rumors, Eagles are a name. So they were in it with Crosby. They were in it with Micah Parsons. They're in it for Grenard. So I don't think it's crazy to say they're going to take a defensive end at 23 if the value's there. I think that's going to be the pick. I think they're going to take T.J. Parker out of Clemson. I think he's a great player. He still needs to develop, but I think it's a good pick. 24. This is an interesting one. Cleveland has the 24th pick, and like Amari said, he thinks they're going to trade it, whether that's up or down. I think they're going to trade down, get capital. I think Denver is trying to go all in right now before they have to pay Bo Nix. We've seen that they traded their first-round pick this year to get Jalen Waddle. They lost a good amount of free agents in free agency. So But I think offensively they're trying to build a solid cast around Bo Nix. You know, they brought back J.K. Dobbins, traded for Waddle. They still got Cortland Sutton. And if you could add Kenyon Sadiq, you know, I know Evan Ingram, I think, is still on the team. I don't think he's a free agent, but
I'm pretty sure he is, yeah.
yeah. But I mean, you're not gonna have Evan Ingram for the next 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Denver goes all in, gets their guy. You know, Sean Payton does love his trades. He really does. So if he has a guy, he's gonna try to get him. Try to do Pat Mahomes, but that's what I think. I think Denver's gonna go all in and try and buffer the offense, considering their defense is still what it is. Considering
I don't hate the Kenyon Sadiq pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, actually, I'll ask you. You're at the end. I'll ask you after. Actually, I'll ask you after.
All right. 25 Bears. Caden McDonald. I don't know. Amari, is this the same pick you had or no? Is this somebody else?
No, I had Peter Woods.
Peter Woods. That's who it was. Yeah. So, you know, like Amari said, their defense is cooked, right? They lost, you know, Nashawn Wright, Kevin Byard.
But they got to go D-line no matter what. You're right.
And don't get me wrong, like they can replace that, but I think, you know, Caden McDonald's a big disruptor. He's a great run stopper in the division where you're playing Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco. No, I'm trolling. But, you know, running backs like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like you got to get some run stopping help, man. The secondary ain't going to help you that much. And their DB's coach, I forget his name, he's great at developing talent. So, you know, I'm not super worried about that. But this is the first step in fixing their defense for sure. Like, that's absolutely what I think they're going to do. 26, the Bills, Manuel McNeil-Warren. I think they go secondary again after going Maxwell Harrison again. Or
last year.
So, yeah, last year. I think
I like
they
that.
doubled on secondary. They lost Teron Johnson. They lost who's the other player? I'm blanking right now. But they lost a lot of secondary players last year, or in free agency, and you know they released a bunch of guys. So I think they doubled down. I think Warren's a really versatile safety. I think he's a great ball skills. You know, I think it might be a little early, but you know, you see that in the draft sometimes. You see players go earlier than they're supposed to, and players later than they're supposed to, and stuff like that. So 27, the Niners, Caleb Lomu, you know, other tackle out of Utah. You know, you could say he's more polished as a straight tackle than Fondo, if you wanted to say that. But, you know, obviously he fell because he's not as good as a lineman as him. But it's no secret. San Francisco's line, both offense and defense, you know, was very underwhelming last year. They just agreed to a contract extension with Trent Williams. But, you know, who knows when he's going to retire? Probably could be at the end of this year. You never know. So
Right.
I think they they double down, get their tackle they need, whether you move him to left, right, put him at right guard, whatever you got to do, you know, just get your guy. 28, Houston, Manuel Pregnon from Oregon. We saw what happened in the playoffs, and it's been the story of C.J. Stroud's career. Man can't stop getting hit. It's horrible. You know, and I know that they went all in on O-line this year. You know, they got Wyatt Teller. They got a bunch of guys on the O-line. But I think, you know, you can get a guy like Pregnon who's really good. I think it helps buff the interior enough to the point where, you know, C.A. Stroud can feel more confident out there. And it's a big year for C.A. Stroud. It really is. It's going to be telling for what happens to Houston over the next couple of years. So, yeah. And 29.
You can never have too much O-line.
Yeah, that's very true. You can never have too much depth at
They're always banged up.
of your lines, whether that's O-line, D-line. You can't have too much depth.
They're always banged up. You got to have depth at that position.
Yep.
Exactly. Speaking of depth at that position, Kansas City, 29. I have them doubling down on D-line and taking Caleb Banks out of Florida. I've heard from people, you know, with sources close to, you know, the Chiefs and what they're doing, and also people that are tied to Caleb Banks that I've talked to. The meetings went well, and, you know, they really like him, and they know Chris Jones could be off, you know, in retirement sometime in the next 5 years, and they want to get an interior disruptor to not necessarily replace him yet, but, you know, also Chris Jones still has a lot in the tank. So if you can get a guy in the interior that can help maximize his abilities along with Karlaftis and adding Ruben Bain, the defensive line is going to be a scary thing again in Kansas City. You know, we've seen it the last 3 Super Bowl champions. Their defensive lines were engulfing. Seattle absolutely destroyed New England at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Philadelphia, I don't even have to say it. Chiefs D line in 2023, they won the game because they got pressure on Purdy on third down in overtime in the end zone. So you get pressure to the quarterback, you're going to win games. So I think they double down on defense. I know there's other needs. Trust me, I know. But I think Caleb Banks is the best player available defensive line-wise at this spot. I know there's the broken foot concerns, but, he's supposed to be good by camp. And, especially since I picked Josh Simmons last year, I don't think there's an injury concern for the Chiefs. I think, as long as it's not, absolutely insane, I think that's the safe pick. 30, Dolphins, Max Iron-Acre, bro. I think he's a very good starting caliber right tackle. I don't think he would do well on the left side. I know he primarily played that at Arizona State. Big, strong guy. Help out Malik Willis again, just like the Carnell Tate pick. O-line's weak. The receiving room is weak. I know the defense is weak, but if you can get a decent offense going, that'll help out a lot for sure. 31, Patriots, Malachi Lawrence. He's been moving up draft boards a lot too, is what I've been hearing. And, he's a player that could go a lot earlier than people would have been mocking him to. And I think, New England could use some D-line help as well. Not that it's bad, but I think like we were talking about, the depth is there and the caliber of players there. And I think that's what they take. And 32, I had Seattle. John Schneider commented a couple days ago, I think it was, that, they're looking to trade back. He openly said it. They want to trade back from 32. They lost a lot of players in fantasy. They lost Tariq Woolen. They lost Kenneth Walker. They lost I can't think on the dome, but they lost a lot of players. So and the Jets have more draft capital than anybody over the next 2 years. I think they round out this first round by trading up with Seattle, giving them draft capital, which Seattle has come out publicly and said they need, and is open to trading back. I think Jets come out here, round out, the end of the first round, and get Omar Cooper Jr. I think he's going to fall a little more than people think. I think, not that there's any concern. I just think it just kind of depends on team's preference. I don't think any other teams are super wide receiver needy as much, and I think Omar Cooper would fall, and I think it would benefit the Jets if they move up and got Omar Cooper to round out the first round. And that's my first round mock draft. That's what I think is going to happen. Who knows? We're going to see tonight, whenever you guys are seeing this. It's going to be before the draft. But we're going to see. And I appreciate y'all listening to me just rant about football. But, yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, does anyone have any thoughts or opinions? What do you guys like, or what would you guys change? Is there anything you guys got?
I don't want to go too far in depth with my own mock draft.
Not yet, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think Alana at 13 it's a bit weird for me, but I can see why you did that.
Yeah.
And hold on, I need the drop in my face. Hold on. Yeah, and Lemon, I personally do not have him here, but I would like if he is at 14. Other than that, I've seen reports for other players that you might have too high or something, but that's beyond the point.
Okay.
I'll get into it once it's my turn.
Chris, Joey?
I agree. I agree with a lot of Capital stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I think he went good. It's a good draft.
Pretty good one.
Yep.
Let's get into
Chris,
Chris.
my good man.
What's up? I tried my best to go through this kind of quickly.
Yes, sir.
I'm head out after this.
Yes, sir.
All right. Raiders at 1, Mendoza's been picked for a while. The 2 is Arvin Reese. I'm hearing a lot about David Bailey as of late, but you just can't pass upon Arvell Reese, man. He's got great talent. You can move him around, everyone in defense. So Jets get Arvell Reese at 2. Jeremiah Love at 3 for the Cardinals. This is the one I kind of was going back and forth on. He and David Bailey, but they need some explosiveness on their offense. With Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Wilson, that's a great trio. And James Conner, he's solid, but he's getting older and coming off that injury. But I have him taking Jeremiah Love at 3, and the Titans get David Bailey. Hold on real quick.
Some issues.
All right. Well,
looking at it real quick.
Man, so are the bottom in the top 10.
Yeah. There's definitely some interesting picks here.
I mean, that's not a bad.
That's not, no.
I think that's actually pretty interesting.
All right.
For David Bailey at 4, it's really, this pick is kind of like, it was between a receiver and David Bailey, but Robert Sala's a defensive guy. He's going to want some defensive players in there. They want to beef up that pass rush like he had in San Francisco.
Right.
So the Giants is 5. Caleb Downs, I think, is the best player in the draft. Pair that with Harbaugh, who's worked for some elite safeties in the past. It's a pretty great fit. I have the Chiefs trading up from the Browns to get Reuben Bain Jr. Like y'all said, man, we need pass rushers. We need guys, especially come off the edge. And Reuben Bain, he has that. He has a dog in him. I'm not concerned about his arms, man. He's going to be great. At number 7, I have the Commanders taking Minnesota Lane. With the receivers in that division, Malik Neighbors, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. The receivers in that division, they're going to need some physicality, and I think Minnesota Lane is going to provide that.
I like that a lot, Chris.
Yeah.
At 8 with the Saints take Carnell Tate to pair with Chris Olave. That'll be a great duo. Chris Olave, Carnell Tate with Charles Shook. That offense can really grow there. At 9, from the Chiefs, I have the Browns taking Jordan Tyson. It's really a pick in the air, but you just go best receiver available. I think Jordan Tyson is that. At 10, the Giants, I have them taking Sonny Styles. He's really going to be a pick at 5, but it still works out for them getting the best defensive player available on the board. At 11, I have the Dolphins taking Mekhi Lemon. Yeah, like y'all said, man, they need receivers. Their offense, upcoming season, it's not looking good. They have A-Chain, Aaron Brewer, Malik Willis. Like, who else?
Yeah, the wide receiver.
They need body. They need body.
The wide receiver one is Tutu Atwell. Right?
Yeah. At 12, I have the Cowboys taking Keldrick Full. Like y'all said, I'm not really high on them. Like y'all aren't either. But they need pass rusher, man. Especially, and predictably, the Michael Parsons trade didn't work out for them. But they still have 2 first-round picks. They can make up for that. The Rams at 13, Francis Maligoa. They lost, I think, Hardenstein in the offseason to retirement. They're going to need somebody to replace his spot, and I think Francis is going to be, a big difference maker to hold up for Stafford in the next Rams quarterback in the future. At 14, the Chargers, I have them trading up for Ione, the best interior lineman in the draft. This is kind of a bold move. I didn't think that at first. I wasn't comfortable with it, but I think they got to get aggressive. Their interior offensive line is bad. And they have a chance to trade up and take the best and available in the class. I think go out there and do it. The 15, I think it's King and Sadiq. Chris Godwin's getting older. They lost Mike Evans. Is K-Dot still on the team?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
K-Dot, he's decent, but like Sadiq, I think he has the ceiling. He can work with Baker Mayfield. At 16,
I think I re-signed as well. I got extended during the season.
Yeah.
And they extend. Wow. Damn. Well, I'm gonna regret that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna regret that. But it's 16. I have the Jets taking Omar Cooper Jr. They need a receiver opposite Garrett Wilson. Omar Cooper Jr. is one. He's rising up the boards though. I like his game. He's gonna be pretty good though. 17. I have the Lions taking Cade Proctor. Like y'all said, man, they can move that man around. He could be a receiver for Dan Campbell. I feel like that's perfect fit. At 18, the Vikings they take Dylan Thieneman. Caleb Downs is y'all right. Caleb Downs is overshadowing him though. He's most of the drafts he'll be the best safety in the class. What works out for the Vikings, they get a Harrison Smith replacement. You know, someone that could be the leader of the back end of the defense. At 19, I have the Eagles trading up with the Panthers to get Denzel Boston. AJ Brown is gone. He ain't gonna be there around June 1st or after June 1st.
Post June 1st, yeah.
Yeah. Since AJ Brown's a big body receiver, go up and get the 50-50, be a great red zone threat. That's what Boston is. And I think he'll have some great chemistry with Hurts, especially since they're replacing one receiver who's the same skill set with a younger and cheap one. It could potentially work out. At 20, I have the Cowboys taking Avion Terrell. You're going to double down on defense. They need corners. I think Avion Terrell is the second best in the draft. And honestly, I had to shuffle this one, bro. At first, I had Jamar McCoy. Then I have to shuffle it around with Avion Terrell.
Yeah, because of the injury. Yeah.
Because of the injury, yeah.
Because of the injury. At 21, I had the Steelers taking Smith Stefano. No matter who their quarterback's going to be, they need to protect. They need to protect him. Whether he's at guard, whether he's at tackle, they're going to need someone like Smith Stefano to protect their next quarterback. Whether it's the young guy, whether it's the older Aaron Rodgers. At 22, I have the Ravens taking Monroe Freeland. Ronnie Stills getting kind of older. I think he's on a 2-year deal, like 1 or 2 years left on his deal. And Freeland.
Wait, what'd you say exactly?
I think Ronnie Stills on his.
Yeah, I think he's getting up there.
And he's getting up there in age, and he's kind of injury prone. Y'all said Freeland can play multiple positions on the O line. They're going to need a new face of the O line for years to come. They already lost Linderbaum.
We actually extended Stanley.
Yeah.
To 2027.
But he's getting older, though. I think he.
No, he is getting older. I'm not.
Yeah.
He is.
At 23. At 23, I have the Panthers taking McNeil Warren. At 24, I have the Browns taking Caleb Lumu. At first, it was going to be old.
You watched K-Man? Did you watch K-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, baby.
I like his draft so far.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. It cut out.
You're good.
But at 24, I had the Browns taking Caleb Lumu. At first, 9 was going to be offensive line and 24 was going to be receiver. But it works out just now. They get the best receiver, probably the best receiver in the class with high upside and a very good tackle. They lost pretty much most of their offensive line, or most of their starting offensive line, and they have replaced some of them, but they're going to need somebody younger to fill those other spots. At 25, I have the Bears taking Akeem Messidor. They're going to need pass rush. I think they need a pass rusher no matter what. I think their leading pass rusher had 9 sacks, I'm pretty sure. It was something around there. If there was a weakness on that Bears defense last year, it was the pass rush.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna need someone like Messidor. Kind of overshadowed by Bain, but he's great in his own way. At 26, I had the Cardinals trading back into the first round with the Buffalo Bills to select Ty Simpson. They could build a good offensive nucleus over there with Simpson, Jeremiah Love, Trey McBride, Harrison Jr., and Michael Wilson. And he can sit behind Brissett and learn from him. At 27 to 28, I had offensive line. 27 for the 49ers, I had Blake Miller. And 28 for the Texans, I had Max. I don't know how you say this guy's last name.
Iheanacho.
Iheanacho. 49ers, Trent Williams getting older. You don't know about his contract situation yet. Wait, did he get extended or?
Wait, who?
Trent Williams, did he get extended or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's 38. You're gonna need someone younger.
He's
in the room.
37, yeah.
You're gonna need someone.
He'll be signed for
younger
2
in the
years.
room.
I'm pretty sure.
And he can, learn from Miller. It's never gonna hurt to learn from one of the all-time great linemen. And the Texans, they just need offensive line to help CJ Stroud out. They need it. At 29, I have the Chiefs taking Peter Woods, doubling down on the defensive line. Chris Jones, Karlaftis, and Bain. I think Norman Lodge can be a sleeper. Rotating in the pass rush. Him, Peter Woods, Chris Jones. It's going to be one of the better interior defensive lines in the league. At 30, I had the Dolphins taking Colton Hood. Both sides of the ball would have been bad, so just best defensive player available. They needed corner desperately. The Patriots at 31, TJ Parker. Edge isn't really like a weakness, but, they can make their defensive line get better, their entire defense get better by taking TJ Parker. I love TJ Parker. I think he's going to be pretty great. And 32, I have the Seahawks taking Chris Johnson. They lost a lot of pieces on defense in the offseason, especially at corner with Rick Rulin. And the way to develop defensive backs, he's going to be pretty good for them.
Now, I have a question.
What's up?
I am curious by the trade between the Chargers and the Ravens. Because, I'm pretty sure the Ravens target at that spot is Ioane. I don't know why they would move out of that.
Go ahead.
I don't think they would move out of that to not get the player they want.
That's a fair. I had them trading 4 picks. I had them trading their first rounder this year, a 4th rounder from this year, a 2026 6, and a 2027 second.
Okay. I can't really pass it off, I guess.
I like the thought process on yours, for real.
No, yeah.
I do. I really like it.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Now, Chris, I know you have to go, but thank you, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for pulling up, bro.
You're welcome, man. That's blessed night, man. Go Chiefs.
Absolutely, bro. You too.
Good night, Chris.
Good night.
All right.
Ben, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's me first.
Ben,
I am low-key scared by how you're gonna react at this, but this is what I have. Okay. Obviously, Mendoza at 1. This is the overall consensus for everyone, but I have Bailey at 2. This is, like everyone said, there's smoke. They might go Bailey or Reese, and I've seen insiders saying, "Oh, Reese, Bailey, Bailey." It's been all over the place since free agency. I'm just gonna run with Bailey. I think that makes the most sense to me. I saw at 3. There was smoke to take Jeremiah out of there, and I think that just boosts trade value to see what they can get. But I think it's just stay put and do take over Reese in the end. Jeremiah Love at 4, best player available, probably the best player, most skilled player in the draft. Offensively, I think they have to pick him here. At 5, I do have Caleb Downs. I think that just makes this defensively the best player available at that point, and it makes the most sense to me.
Right.
Margot at 6. Look, we do know that the Browns want to get out of the first round with an offensive tackle and a wide receiver, which is what I have. But I don't think they go with Tate at 6. I don't think they go Margot. I think it's the best one best option because he can get a better receiver later in the first round. No, not better receiver, but like a skilled receiver later in the first round. At 7, I have Tate. If he's pair him with him and McLaurin. In St. Joe's, I have Jaden Daniels. At 8, I have Ruben Bain. It's just I don't see that him passing like getting past there. I don't see the lane there. And the lane I have at the Chiefs. I have Sonny Stell at 10 to the Giants. If he makes it to 10, the Giants have to take him. It just makes he's not falling anywhere further. At 11, I have Jordan Tyson. The wide receiver room in Miami is a mess. The wide receiver one is Tutu Atwell. They have to take a receiver, and I do think they take him with the first pick, not the second. At 12, this might get interesting if I see I haven't taken down in Tiedemann. But it's a complicated situation. But I do like the fit in Dallas for Tiedemann. Like everyone said, he's overshadowed by Downs, but like he would probably be the best safety in the draft if Downs wasn't there. And I think that value at 12 makes him show that. At 13, Michael Lemon. It's been everywhere that it's been linked pretty much that the Rams want Lemon. I've seen other names at 13, but I don't think you pass on Lemon at that point. Like at 14, I have Olane, like I said earlier. It's the guy that the Ravens has been the most linked to, and I just don't see how they pass up on him. I don't think I see a better option at that point. 15, I have Messidor, that makes the most sense to me. 16, I have Kelsey Falk. Again, I'm not high on him like everyone, but at that point, it just makes sense for the Jets to take an edge rusher. Fano at 17. Look, some people have feelings about Proctor. Any one of the three makes sense, but I think Fano probably stands out of the three for me. Look, Sadiq at 18 to the Vikings. You might see this, you'd be like, what is he doing here? I've seen a report that's either Sadiq or Tiedemann at 18. And if Tiedemann is gone, yes, it might be wanting to trade it or like trade it back, whatever, or take another player. But I do think I don't see like him like falling this far. Again, like I don't see where else we could go after the Vikings. Other than the Panthers, which do near Thailand, but Tommy Tremble it is, I guess. Monroe Feeling to the Panthers, Colton Hood to the Cowboys. Again, we all said that the Cowboys need defensive help. Colton Hood is the best corner after German McCoy, but German McCoy is injured, so that makes it to Colton Hood. Karen Proctor to the Steelers. The offensive line is not terrible, but they do like need help. Same with the Chargers. I have taken Caleb Lomu. 23, I do have the Eagles with taking a TJ Parker, like Capital said, they do need it, and I think it makes the most sense. 24 to Bounds, like I said, it didn't take a receiver here with Omar Cooper Jr. I do think it's either Conception, Boston, or Cooper, but Cooper has been rising off draft boards, and I think I like the fit in Cleveland for the Cooper Jr. 25, I do have Kenny McDonald. We all said that they need defensive help. I think that makes sense. It could be another player like Terrell or Peter Woods or whatever. Kenny McDaniel is when I went with CJ Allen to the Bills. Again, linebacker. I mean, not that the defense got shredded like the Bears did, but I think there's a fit there in Buffalo. It's either him or I forget his name. Jacob Rodriguez or anyone, something. I went with Allen. The 49ers, I was in a weird spot with it. I just went with Terrell. I do see some kind of fit there. That might not be the pick coming like going in the draft like tomorrow night or tonight technically at this point. Offensive line, Texans, Premion. We all said offensive line is what caused them in the playoffs. It was terrible. Stroud needed help on that line. Premion makes sense. The Chief at 29 have Malaka Lawrence. They are in for a pass rusher, but with Bain going at 8 above the Chiefs pick, I think you take an edge rusher at 29, and that's for me. It's Malaka Lawrence. And Nacho at 30 to the Dolphins. Blake Miller at 31 to the Patriots. Peter Woods at 32 to the Seahawks. I did see that Seahawks might be in for Jadavion Price, the running back from Notre Dame. I just don't see a fit there. You have Charbonnet and Emmanuel Wilson. But yeah, the best name available still left McCoy with the injury. I've seen a report that by Night Warren can fall to the second round. I'm just going to run with it. KC Concepcion, this on Boston, it could have been picked instead of like Omar Cooper or like whoever. But I think with Omar Cooper rising, I think it makes the most sense to me at 24 to get him and leave Concepcion in Boston to the second round. I'm tired from talking.
This is really good. I like it.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
had me sweating bullets making it.
No, yeah, I think there's obviously some picks. I mean, it says uncommon, but obviously I would ignore that. For anyone watching, like, I don't think those are uncommon. Like, it's just uncommon based on other people's.
Uncommon, yeah, uncommon people were. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's uncommon, like a team wouldn't choose, because I feel like a lot of those picks make actual sense. I think if Bain were to go, though, I feel like if certain people were to go, the Chiefs would trade up from 29. I feel like I didn't put that in mine either. But like, I feel like Ruben Bain is going to be there at 9 for us. So
I mean, I was going back and forth. It could be Delane or Bain.
I think yours is a good instance of what would happen if potentially Bain wasn't there for us.
Yeah.
So
I was going back and forth between Bain and Delane. Like at one point, I had Tate at 6. I had Styles at 7. I don't have the Saints like taking a wide receiver because I'll probably be waiting for day 2 for taking a wide receiver, which I just ran with that report and take Bain. Is it Bain or Delane? That makes sense both, but I like the Bain fit more.
Right, absolutely. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But Joey's first round.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Good.
I'm gonna switch my screen. Give me a second. Let's just do this. Hello. See my there it is.
All right.
Talk to us. I was running on a little short time here. I got home from the Pistons game at like 10:15, 10:20. But I did my best. Yep. All right. Number 1, I'm going Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner. Not going to sweat it. 2, 3, and 4, I feel like it could get a little twisted. But I think Reese is like more polished. He's more of like complete edge rusher linebacker. I think they'll take him. Cardinals, they could take Bailey. They could take Maui Noah. I think they take tackle, get their offense running. And then Titans, I think they need Love, Ward, give him some help and need another dynamic player in that offense. It can't just be one-dimensional. And then the Giants, I think they're going to go Styles here and hope Downs falls to 10. I feel like he has a higher chance of falling, so they'll go Styles here. And Tate, the Browns really do need another fucking weapon. I mean, who's their wide receiver 1 right now? Judy? Something like that? Yeah, I think they'll need Tate, and I think I have him taking tackle later on. 7, I think they'll take Bailey. And then Lemon, I feel like they'll need someone next to Olave, play on the inside. And I think they can get rolling on offense there with another weapon. Shuck is pretty good, looking promising. And then best pick in the draft right here, Ruben Bain. I feel like he'll help out our defense a lot. I really love him, and it's meant to be. 10, I got Downs, best player in the draft, I think, maybe behind Love, best player on the defensive side. And then 11, Dolphins, they lost Waddle, Hill, obviously, so I think they'll take Tyson. 12, Cowboys need help on defense. Their secondary is kind of trash. I think they'll take Delane. And then the Rams, I think they'll go all in right here, take Fano, need a tackle to protect Stafford for his last year, most likely, and hopefully get a ring for them. But I hope they don't get a ring, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I think they lost Linderbaum. Should be able to help Lamar right here with that pick. All right, now Tampa Bay, I think they'll go edge rusher, keep Mesidor in Florida. I feel like it could change. Same with the Jets. I mean, they could take quarterback, they could take receiver. I'm not gonna lie, I think they might take Simpson, but it really just depends. And then Lions, they have a lot of options here. They could take corner, they could take safety, they could take O-line or D-line, but I mean, I feel like they're going to want to protect Goff. I mean, when his O-line isn't holding up, he looks awful. So I feel like they just take him. And then the Vikings, think they'll upgrade their defense. They could go tackle here, but I would have had him take Freeling if he didn't get taken by the Lions. And then the Panthers, I think they'll take Sadiq. I mean, add another weapon to that offense. Maybe look Bryce Young look better, but he looked good last year. Turned it on at the end. Dallas, I think they'll go Keldrick Falk. I mean, I'm not that high on him either. I think you guys were saying the same thing as well. But
Yep.
20, I feel like that's not too early for him. When I was doing this, I kind of forgot Pittman got traded to the Steelers, but you guys were talking about it.
Too.
So, I mean, they still could need another weapon. I mean, their offense was kind of bad last year. Offense was trash, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, pretty stagnant.
Chargers, I mean, Harbaugh loves his offensive linemen. I feel like they can use another tackle here. I mean, Herbert got beat up in the playoffs. So.
And we all, it wasn't only in the playoffs. His offensive line was bad all year. Or the worst offensive line in football.
Yeah, that as well. But it was really noticeable in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
Eagles, I could see them going offensive tackle or, like defensive end or something like that. But, I mean, Saquon didn't look the same last year. I feel like their O-line wasn't as dominant as they were in previous years. I mean, Saquon had a down year. So I feel like they'll help him out. Push. And the Browns, I had him taking Tate with pick 6. So I think they'll need a tackle here. And Blake Miller's pretty good out of Clemson. The Bears, their defense was trash last year as well. So I think Jermon McCoy, him falling this far, is kind of crazy, but I like McCoy.
But it's falling far because of the injury.
Yeah. Denzel Boston, I mean, I think Buffalo needs another receiver. I mean, Allen is crazy arm talent. He could be a good threat for them. And then the 49ers, I mean, I think they'll go tackle here. I mean, I could be wrong, but I know Max is very talented out of Arizona State. I hope the Chiefs get him, but I don't know.
But
and then,
like I said, sorry to stop you. The 49ers is just a weird overall spot to pick.
Yeah.
My bad. Continue.
No, you're good. Texans, I know they probably could take. They need Max as well, but Stroud got beat up. I don't know if I want to pick McDonald. I kind of want to switch that now that their O-line was kind of buns last year. And then Peter Woods, I feel like Spags really needs someone else on defense. Him and Bain would be an absolute nightmare for offensive lines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Avion Terrell, another pick I want the Chiefs to have, maybe pick 40. Maybe they'll trade up. And he's a lockdown corner. Patriots, add TJ Parker. I feel like that would help their defense out as well.
Mhm.
And then Tariq Woolen, they lost the Seahawks, so I think Colton Hood will help out as well.
I like it. I like it.
All right, thank y'all.
What I had as well, I did have Margot at 3 before like kind of arranging everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, maybe that's like not bad, but like went back on it. I was like, well, which is not what I had. I didn't think it reached in the end.
You guys did a great job, man. Thank you guys for pulling up. We appreciate
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We are going to be watching the draft in Discord for those that want to watch it, that are watching now. We are going to be dropping this obviously before the draft. This is going to be obviously dropped probably within the hour. I'm probably going to drop it by like 1:30. So thank you guys for tuning in. You guys will see this when you guys wake up. Appreciate you.
Hey, a lot of work put into this moment. A lot of work. Remember one thing today. You're not alone. You got 10 dudes around you that are going to lay it on the line for you. Do the same for them. Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
I'm crossing the interstates. You know that I don't play. I'ma take you on a date. Yeah, I'm the 40 again. So never
Ready to go.
I know this from the heart. Cause you know that I'm a star. And this all came from the heart. You were here when it was hard. I told her what I'm.
Hey, gotta love this, man. Get to go out there and play some football, man. Have some fun, play for each other.
Or each other for the man next to you.
Hey, 60 minutes, play for one another.
Hey, man, it's a hell of an opportunity. What you willing to lay on the line? Ask yourself that.
Finish, grind, take a deep breath, and have some fun. Okay?
If it wasn't for this headspace, that game.